Hey guys, James Riley here from Goliath Historical Fencing Academy. Here today with a video review. A couple months ago, one of my friends and distance learning students, Josias Arcadia, came down to visit for a weekend. We put in a lot of hours that weekend, a lot of hard training, and right before we were about to pack up, the kind of night before everybody left, we were just hanging out in the backyard, had some foam swords, and thought we'd do some fencing. So what we got here is a series of exchanges we did that night, and I wanted to go over them because it really highlights some of the work that I've been showing you guys with regards to the videos that I've posted lately on the YouTube channel. So without any further ado, if you haven't, please like and subscribe, turn the bells on for notifications, and let's get into the video. So here we have the beginning of the exchange. So you rewind it all the way. So I'm just going to walk you through exactly what I'm thinking at every moment of this fight. That's going to be my goal with this video here. So the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to drop my sword as I enter into distance, making sure that I'm not in the Krieg or any kind of threatening distance. And I'm going to lift my sword above my head, and I'm going to send a cut from my left to my right, stepping nice and wide with my left foot as I pivot back on the right. So that's really important. I'm stepping wide because I want this cut to whiff. I have no interest in closing distance in this moment. I want to make sure that my sword is leading my body and that I'm pulling myself out of distance. What he's shown me in this moment is that he's interested in taking. As I know the cut is going to whiff, I know that I have to experience a weakening, and in that moment of the weakening, I'm pulling my body out of distance to make sure that he can't exploit it. Sword goes back above my head, and now I'm ready to take advantage of the information that he's given me in that first action. I know now that he wants to take, so I send my sword forward, body moves in behind it, and I threaten the thrust, and that's how I bridge the gap with that thrust. That's how I bridge the gap from Sufechten into the Krieg. As I send my sword forward, I see that he sees the thrust, chases the defensive action, the taker in long point, and gives me an opening to hit Indez, his parry in long point, with a Zucken. Let's look at that one more time. Sword is on the shoulder. I send my sword forward, follow up with a step, threaten the thrust, draw the taker in long point, and hit Zucken to the arms. Then back into a nice Vage, and I pull myself out of distance. Sword goes back above my head, throwing cuts. These cuts are not really relevant. They're just sort of making sure that he can't target any kind of opening that I leave from that far outside of his Sufechten. He can't come up with a tactical game plan. Now, as we come back into the Krieg, again, sending my cut forward. As soon as I cross the center, I'm pulling my body back at a distance, and I extend my sword forward. The sword comes forward first, body falls in behind it, and I look to test to see if he wants to bind. I see that he's not interested in binding immediately, and so I'm going to continue testing the bind to see what kind of game he wants to play. Now I see that he's beginning to bind on my sword, pushing my sword away, and that's when I pull back. Now I'm coming forward again. I do a clearing action on his blade, and as my sword comes back out of the center, my body comes out of distance. And back in the long point. He goes back in the long point, and I cut as I leave distance. Now I go to test the bind again. At this point, I see that he is ready to bind on me. I know what he wants to do is he wants to take at this point, and so I'm going to strengthen on his sword wide for the purposes of him retaking. So as I strengthen on his sword, he moves to retake on my blade, which gives me another opening for a thrust. This time I intend for this thrust to hit, I see the crown parry, and I hit again. So as soon as I see the crown parry, I'm hitting and does that. At this point, I've come up with several ways to exploit his takers as I close distance, and now what I want to see is if he'll enter on his own terms. So I have my sword on my shoulder. He knows that thrusting into me here is a very dangerous move because I can cut down into long point with a step back with my left, or I could potentially take and plow. Either one of those give me my turn back. And I threaten a cut onto his blade to see if I can't draw, not the taker this time. I know that he won't go for the taker at this point. I want to see if I can draw a thrust from him. And he doesn't bite on that. He kind of extends his arms, but you notice I'm coming into plow. I was hoping that as I zook in here, that he would shoot his point forward so that I could take it in plow. So my goal in this instance was not for him to take, but rather for him to see the instance of weakening that I was doing with my Zukin and look at that as an opportunity to set Knockrising, to set into my Zukin. Notice the distance that I have to do this at. If I was any closer, if he set, he would have hit me. So I'm just on the edge of distance, making sure that if he sets here, that I can still take and plow. He does bring his sword forward, and I move to take it and plow. He's able to Durchfex him because he didn't commit his body, which means that I'm basically safe from his thrust on the other side, but I pull out a distance anyway, just to make sure that I survive the exchange. Now he's strong in the bind. I yield. Now he's starting to set into me. So now I just pull distance, and I'm waiting for that opportunity again. If he can close, and I can take and as his closing action, that's what I'm going to try and do here. So I cut down again. I'm looking for the Zukin, waiting for him to take or to set so that I can take and plow. He is not committing his body. He's really, really reticent here to commit his body. Maybe because he knows that I'm looking to invite him to attack me, or maybe it's just because he's bewildered by all of the motion that I'm giving him just outside the edge of distance. So he threatens here. Because it wasn't really on my terms, I don't like it. So if I could have invited him to do that before I made this plow parry, then I would have gladly stayed in distance and kept my turn, maybe sliced if he had tried to close. But he didn't. So now he's taking his turn, and I don't like it because I don't know what he's planning. So I back out. He's got a strong point. I do a clearing action, and then I send my short edge forward. Now here I probably could have hit a Sturzhau if I had committed my left foot forward, but I wasn't sure what he wanted to do, and I didn't commit my left foot forward, so that clearing action really just got him out of my way. I send the cut forward. This is safe for me to be at this distance, looking to invite. So this time this cut is meant to invite him to set, and the goal is that if he sets, I can perform another clearing action. This clearing action was not an invitation, and that's why I pulled my body out of distance. So I send this clear, looking for him to set. He doesn't set, then I do another clearing action just in case he had, and I pull my body out of distance. And that's the end of that little volley. So we're here again. Now he steps in and drops his sword. He's looking to clear my attack, or at least that's the way I'm viewing this. I don't know if that's what he has in mind here, but he's so close, and yet so far I'm not close enough to hit him directly with the sword as low as it is. He could easily take. There are several different ways that he could take, so I don't want to turn it into a rocks, paper, scissors. I'd rather do things on my terms. He is very, very close though. He's definitely inviting me to hit from my perspective. I don't like it, so I just back out. He backs out. Now he's close again, and he's doing the same types of actions that I was doing. And I'm thinking myself, you're a little close to be doing those types of actions. And so as soon as he does, I'm looking for that as a hitter right there. In this particular instance, he narrowly avoids that hitter. He felt the wind of the strike on his hands. I think I ended up hitting his pommel there. All right, so now I offer him my point. I see what he wants to do. Okay, I see he wants to bind. He's not really biting on my invitations to hit, so I have to get a little bit more creative. He does a clearing action here. I back out. I don't like it. I'm going to enter on my own terms. So I want to get him to hit me. That's what I'm trying to do. So I send this forward, looking for him to strike in. He doesn't do it. So I'm threatening that plunge cut to set up my offense. And now I have how I want to take my turn, right? So as I plunge, he backs that distance, drops my sword. I'm going to start with a series of, oh, no, maybe not. Here I'm going to start with a series of overhow. So that initial overhow is not actually meant to hit or even get any kind of advantage. We're way too far out for that. It's really just to establish my turn so that he doesn't try and do anything reckless. So I send that overhow. He goes to make the parry, and I transform it to a cut from the other side. And now he's firmly in my obedience, and so I'm able to continue to prosecute this chase. So I threaten the cut from the left, and then I transform it into a cut from below. And here I'm looking for him. So as I transform that into a cut from below, he misses my sword, and he sends his sword forward. I use that as an opportunity to beat and to take his action and then hit in the vor in this case. All right. So again here, I start with a right over, turn it into a left over. Now he's behind. Now I transform it to cut from below. I'm not looking to hit here. If I tried to hit him here, I may have gotten his hands, but then he may have ended up getting my arms in the afterblow. This action was never designed to be a hitter. It was all just to get him to bite on my provocation for him to hit so that I can take and then hit with advantage. And that's what I do here. Sends the sword forward, take, and hit with advantage. All right, guys. That's the end of our video. I'll let it run real quick, and you can enjoy the fencing. And hope you have a great day.